What's up everyone, it's Kelly and today I've got another swatch review for you. So today I'm actually reviewing multiple collections from the brand Painted Polish. So we have a huge review ahead of ourselves, but before we get into that, if you haven't heard of Painted Polish before, they are an independent nail polish brand that is based in the US, and all of their polishes are 5 free, meaning they are free of 5 of the potentially harmful ingredients that can be found in nail polish, and they're also cruelty free, meaning they do not test their products on animals. So like I said, we've got a lot to go over today. I actually have 16 polishes in total. So we've got their Pretty in Punk Quartet, we've got their Anniversary Trio, we have their new stone inspired fall collection, which is called Let's Get Stoned, and then I also have a few of their mystery polishes to share with you. And I will say, Painted Polish is one of those indie brands that's super unique in my opinion. They definitely have a very signature sort of style, and I feel like I could definitely spot a polish as one of theirs, and I feel like they really leaned into it with these recent polishes, so I'm very excited to share them with you. But we've got a lot to go over, so we may as well just dive right into the swatches. Then we can talk a little bit more about my thoughts on them, pricing, availability, all that good stuff. So roll the swatch footage. So as with all of my swatch and review videos, I am using base coat underneath all of my swatches just to protect my natural nail and prevent any stains. Today I'm using the KB Shimmer base coat. And I'm going to start off with the Pretty in Punk Quartet. So we've got 4 pink nail polishes, all in these sort of punky themes, and this first shade, Sugar and Spikes, is actually what I'm wearing on my nails in the intro and outro to this video. And as you can see, it is incredibly opaque in the first coat, and I actually am just wearing one coat in the intro and outro because I feel like I could get away with it. I did end up doing a second coat just to show you what it looks like, but this one is absolutely stunning. We've got the gold and silver and black flakes in there that they've been doing recently, and layered with the pink, it almost looks like there's a pinky tinge to the silver, so it's a really fun shade, super vibrant color of pink, and I really love it. Next up we have the shade Rosy Rebellion, and this one, true to its name, is more of a dusty rose kind of color. It definitely is a more medium pink kind of shade, similar to Sugar and Spikes, but this one is less intense and less of that almost neon sort of color, but we still have the gold, silver, and black flakes running throughout. And again, I got perfect coverage in 2 coats. I feel like there was just a little bit of overlap with those flakies that make it look like there's almost a pink flake coming through, and it's just a really beautiful option for just a less intense version of that more neon pink. So I like having my options. Next we have the shade Bubblegum Brawl, and this one is a lighter pink shade. Again, same glitters running throughout. We've got the black, silver, and gold flakies, and again, this one just gave me really impressive opacity. I feel like this is another one I could get away with doing in one coat, but I ended up applying 2, and something about how vibrant but also light this color is just makes it feel like such a fun shade. It definitely is giving me a little bit of like a springy pastel neon sort of vibe, but being as I have pink hair currently, I feel like I can get away with wearing pink any time of year. Also, I guess it's kind of a classic shade, but I do think that this one is really gorgeous, so I'm going to be wearing it a lot. And then we have Ruffle Riot, which is the final shade in the Pretty in Punk Quartet, and this one is the lightest pink, again with the silver, gold, and black flakies running throughout, and this time it's more in a pastel sort of base. So again, it's giving me a little bit of a springy vibe, but I think that this is light and neutral enough that again, it's a kind of color that I would wear any time of year. And just keep in mind, I say all that because I wear my polishes seasonally, but I know most people don't, so that's just how I think in terms of like polish colors. But again, a really, really beautiful shade. I honestly love the entire quartet. So now let's move on to the Let's Get Stoned collection. We've got 6 new nail polishes, and this is their fall collection. They're all inspired, as you could guess from the name, by stones. So this first shade is called Cozy Quartz, and it is a really beautiful light beige neutral that again has that black, gold, and silver flaky running throughout. I feel like Painted Polish goes through these sort of phases where they'll do basically every color in a certain finish, and right now they're on this black, gold, and silver vibe, and I cannot get enough of it. This is so stunning. I feel like it matches my skin tone perfectly. It just feels like the perfect neutral stone kind of vibe to me. Then we have this shade, which I honestly feel like the name is such a tongue twister. It's Mauvelous Marble, but I keep saying Mauvelous Marble or Marvelous Marvelous. whatever, it doesn't matter. And this one is actually a really soft, dusty lilac sort of color. So this one I would say clearly is the least neutral of the collection because it's more of a purpley tone. But again, it's very soft, it's very subtle, and it really does still have that stone finish with those black, gold, and silver flecks running throughout. It's just really beautiful, and it still kind of has that natural feel to it. Next, we have the shade Blushing Boulder, and again, very appropriately named because this one is kind of that blush beige color. So we have a little bit of that dusty, rosy kind of tone to it, and then again, we have the black, gold, and silver flakies running throughout. And honestly, this collection, it reminds me a lot of Zoya Naturelle in that we get these very similar sort of neutral shades, and they just kind of go in a range with each other, and you can wear them as a skittle or you can really just pick based on your vibe. But I also really love this one. It feels very neutral, very soft, and it would work for any time of year. And then we have the shade Peachy Pumice, which, as you could guess from the name, is more of a peachy tone, and you can see I accidentally had a little bit too much polish on the brush, but I was able to clear that off of my cuticles very easily. I do think that these brushes are incredibly beginner friendly. I literally never have to do cleanup with them because they're just perfectly rounded, and I feel like the formulas are so smooth and opaque. So I really do enjoy that. That's probably the first time in a very long time that I have messed up painting my nails with painted polish, but this color, really gorgeous. It has a slight dustiness to it, so again, it kind of has that natural stone vibe, and just going along with getting a little bit darker in the collection, but still feeling very neutral. And then we have the shade Totally Terracotta. Now, I will say for this color and the next shade, which are the final two of this Let's Get Stoned collection, these ones I would still classify as being a medium brown, but one thing to note, I am very pale, so these are showing a little bit deeper and darker on me. Depending on your skin tone, the neutral sort of polishes are going to look different, and I feel like on most people, this is going to look like a medium light color, but on me, you can clearly see it's like more of a deeper salmon tone on me. So again, we still have those beautiful flakies running throughout. It's definitely giving me like a mountainous sort of vibe. And then the final shade is Brownstone Bliss. So again, I think this one looks a little bit deeper and darker on me than it looks in a lot of swatches, but I do think that's just because I'm very pale, but I would still classify this as being a sort of light brown base color, but this time we have a little bit more of a cool, dusty base, and then we also have those flakies running throughout. So honestly, the entire collection feels very neutral. We've got all of these beautiful neutral shades that kind of shift from light into medium brown, and I think they all look really beautiful together. So now let's move on to their anniversary trio. We've got the first one, Here's to 11 Years, and this is actually where we diverge a little bit from the black, gold, and silver flakies. So this one is actually a white base that has a couple of different shades of pink and black hex glitters and flakies running throughout, and you can see there's some irregular sizes. I did get one big one on my nail, which I thought was very exciting, but this one's super fun. I love the pink. I love a white Crelly. I talk about them all the time, and this one was just so opaque. I feel like I could get away with wearing this in one coat, but of course I ended up doing two. The next shade in the trio is Here's to 12 Years, and this is a pretty similar one, but we have a very light gray base, again, with a couple of different pink and black glitters running throughout in the hex shapes, as well as some flakies. And you can see there's the darker, more like neon-ish kind of pink, plus we have a pale pink, and it really does have a beautiful effect. I love gray as a neutral, so very excited about this one, and I always think that pink and black look really cool together. So again, very opaque, very beautiful, could wear any time of year and will. And then the last shade in this trio is Party in Pink, and this one is actually very different from any painted polish formula I have. I do have some of their full coverage glitters, but this is definitely a departure from what I've experienced so far, and I have to say I am intrigued. We've got this full coverage holographic pinky red glitter base, but then we also have what looks to be black flecks running throughout, so it just gives a really unique texture. I don't own any nail polish like this. I think it's super fun. I really don't think my camera of did it justice. It's so much more sparkly in real life. So I'll have to show you guys at some point, but this in the sun is absolutely amazing. And then the last three shades that I'm showing you are the Mystery Crellies, which I am going to butcher the pronunciation of. So if you do not want spoilers, I would not check this part of the video, but I believe they're already revealed on the Painted Polish website. But this first one is Mystery Crelly Vincent. Oh boy, I'm not good at French, but this one is another beige neutral, and this time we are totally packed with blue, green, yellow, pink, black, purple, hex glitters running throughout. It totally gives me funfetti vibes, and it looks so beautiful on the nail. I might be a little bit biased because this one is just perfectly suiting my skin tone, and it also kind of leans on the cooler side with the glitters, but this is just the perfect Crelly to me. Then we have Mystery Crelly Vincent, and this one is a blush beige kind of tone, so you can see a little bit of that pinky beige coloring going on, and this time we've got a bunch of flaky colors in there. So we've got black, we've got silver, yellow, green, a little bit of teal, and it all just comes together to create a really interesting mix of colors. Something about this looks very delicious to me. I don't know if it's like giving me donut vibes, but I really love this one. And then last but not least, we have Mystery Crelly Van Huit. I am so sorry, guys. Brands keep on doing this to me, but they try to get me to pronounce things that I, in my American accent, cannot pronounce. But anyway, this one I would say is probably the most funky color out of the shades that I reviewed today, and I'm curious if people are gonna love it or hate it, because we have this mustard, yellow, orange kind of base color, and then we have black, gold, and green flakies running throughout. It's really giving me like an autumnal 70s sort of vibe, but it's also definitely just like a funky, weird coloring that I feel like a lot of people would refer to as ugly pretty, or maybe just ugly. I personally love it. You know, I love weird polishes like this, but yeah, let me know what you think of it. So here's all the polishes together, and like I said, this is actually multiple different collections. So we've got the 4 on the top are the Pretty and Punk, then we've got the neutrals, which are the Let's Get Stoned collection, and then we have the Anniversary Trio, as well as the Mystery Crellies, which I showed 3 of them. So looking at this chart, I feel like you can see a lot of similar colors, but they are all spread out from different releases. But I do think that that's something that Painted Polish does in general. They kind of fall into these color and theming moods, and it's really fun to just see the way that they'll take a color and make so many variations of it. And I know not a lot of people love that, but to me, I feel like that's just such a perfect way to operate a brand, and what makes this brand super underrated to me, because if you are looking for your exact perfect neutral polish, you can look at this and find the color that you want. Like if you wanted one that has a little bit of a peachy tone to it, or maybe a little cooler toned pink to it, or maybe more of a brownish tone to it. So it's just nice to be able to choose between so many options instead of picking one that you find is less than perfect. So as Painted Polish expands their catalog and makes more colors, I always get super excited, especially to just like compare them to other colors in my collection. I think it's really fun. So yeah, let's talk about these a little bit more. So those are all of their newest releases, and as you can see, I really enjoyed these. I think that Painted Polish is just one of those underrated brands, and they're just so unique in that they really lean into their specific style and doing these sort of fun crellies that have that natural, almost stony kind of mix to them. And I really appreciate that they do that, and that they do such a variety of colors without kind of veering off and doing more trendy stuff. And I just think that the color choices that they picked, especially for the fall colors, are totally perfect. I love seeing them switch it up and do brighter summery versions of these, but I really have to say these cozy kind of neutral colors to me always just speak to me, especially this time of year. There's something about a Crelly formula that has little flakies in it that, I don't know, I'll just always love and have a special place in my heart for. And not only that, but I think their formula is just incredible in general. Like I said, I am wearing one coat on my nails right now, and I think for being a Crelly formula and having that sort of depth of glitter, it's really impressive that they're still able to make it super opaque. And the formula is also really beginner friendly. It smooths out so easily with a layer of top coat. I know a lot of people are concerned about these polishes having a sort of texture to them, but they really do feel smooth as soon as I apply a top coat to them. So yeah, just overall, I really enjoy them. I think they're a severely underrated brand. So now let's get into pricing and availability. All these polishes come in the usual painted polish bottles, which are 13.2 milliliters. They do feature a wide flat brush that has a rounded tip, so application's super easy, like I said. And they retail for $12 USD each, but I also have an affiliate discount code, so you can use the code KELLI10 to get an additional 10% off your order. I'm gonna link everything down below. You can check them out if you're interested, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts on them. What do you think of the brand in general? What do you think of these collections? Do you have a favorite? Are you planning on picking any of them up, or have you already? Leave it all in the comments. We can chat about it. And if you enjoy my swatch and review videos, please hit that like button. It really helps me out. It lets me know I'm doing a good job. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe. I love you all, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye. I found a would you rather question that's kind of similar / related to what these polishes are, so I thought this would be a good one for today, which is, would you rather only ever wear dark, vampy shades for fall, or only wear cozy neutrals for fall? And this, oh my gosh, I didn't think about my answer, but now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know that I can come up with an answer, because that's like the two ways that I go in the fall. I feel like I'm either going for like the dark vampy vibe, or I'm going for like the cozy neutral vibe, and I feel like I tend to go back and forth because I'll wear like a neutral color, but then I'll want something really deep and dark, but then I'll want to go back to like a palette cleansing neutral kind of color. But oh my gosh, that's really difficult. I guess if I had to choose one, I would probably choose neutrals, just because I think there's a little bit more leeway for different types of colors. Like, I think neutrals can go from very light to very dark, whereas vampy colors tend to be like a little bit more, well, vampy, like, you know, deep seductive kind of shades. So I think just to have more variety, I would probably choose the neutrals, especially because with collections like these, I could also do stuff with flakies in them and kind of darken them up, or I could do like a beautiful deep brown, which is still a cozy neutral. So yeah, I think I would choose neutrals, but that's a tough choice. So I'm curious to hear your answer. Leave it in the comments, we can chat about it, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.